Right, Shalom, Shalom. When the Hebrew Israelites here to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom, to speak about the upliftment of Yahweh Shai, which is the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, coming back to deliver the elect of our nation, all right, from this last captivity. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor
to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, with HaKodash.
The large to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to Rakim out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. All right? So what I want to get first, let's get Isaiah 62nd chapter, the 8th verse. Go into that. Okay? Casting down Jacob, your excellency. Okay? Because you Jakes, Israelites, all right, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're supposed to be practicing to be a nation of kings and priests.
That's right.
All right? That's what the Lord said he was going to make us, man. That's part of the promise. Okay, but you've went away from the ways that the Most High has set up for you. Get me how it becomes a degenerate plant. Hold on. What do you got? Okay, read that one first.
It's the book of Psalms 62,
okay,
and verse 4. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency.
Right, who's they that only consult our enemies, man? Okay, that's who controls this whole system, is your enemy. All right, it's not your friends that control the system. Yeah. The same people that control the system, the same people that benefited from the slave trade and all these different things, man. That's right. And taking over the new world and all that. Okay, these ain't your friends, man. All right, and their whole goal, the meetings that they have, part of the meetings that they have, or some of the meetings that they have, is to keep you Jakes in perpetual sin, and perpetually against your power, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai.
And what proves again that they're not for a turn, it says, love worketh no ill. And that's the only thing that they want for us, to keep us in base, to keep us on the low level.
Right. Let's get it rolling.
This is Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 20. From old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest.
And when did he break our yoke and our bands the first time? In Egypt. Okay? On Egypt. That was the first deliverance that he did for our people. 12 tribes. Go ahead.
And thou saidest, I will not transgress.
And we made a covenant and said we were not going to transgress the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot.
Right, in the groves, because in the groves is where they used to sacrifice the other gods, false gods. So our people, they kept going back and sacrificing to these false gods. Go ahead.
Yet I planted thee a noble vine.
Right.
Holy.
But he planted us a noble vine. He created us to be a noble people, man. Look up the word noble, Mahaya. All right? He planted us to be a noble people. Go ahead.
Yeah, I planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed.
Right. Right going into righteous. The right hand represents the righteous side of things. Go ahead.
How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant?
How have you turned into a degenerate plant? Go ahead.
Of a strange vine unto me.
This is what Jake has turned into, a strange vine to the Lord, man. To the point the Lord, he doesn't even really recognize you, Jake. Right. He looks at you as a heathen nation because of what you're doing, the customs that you're following, right? Which is not the customs of the scriptures. It's not the custom that the Most High gave us, man. That our God gave us, man. Who's our God? The Most High Yahweh, the creator of heaven and earth, man. He doesn't belong to the other nations, all right? Or we don't belong to the other nations don't belong to him in that sense. We are the only ones that are called by his name. So we have a greater responsibility than these other nations.
That's right.
It's the book of Lamentations 4:1. How has the gold become dim?
Right.
How is the most fine gold changed?
So we are represented as that gold, the Israelites. Okay?
The stones of the sanctuary are poured out to the top of every street.
Yep.
The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold.
Precious sons of Zion, man. All right? And we're going to look up the word precious too. Right?
How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers?
Right.
The
worthless, man. You Jakes, you leave from your power and you become worthless, man. All right? So when I speak those, well, I speak confidence in the Jakes too, but mainly it's for the brothers, man. Because the brothers, at least they're the Israel of the Most High. At least they're recognized of the Most High as Israelites, man. Right.
The work of the hands of the potter.
That's right.
Isaiah 5 and verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine,
Right.
and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
Meaning he did everything to make this particular plant, a garden, to be the most beautiful garden there is, man. Right? But it brought forth wild grapes, as in something that was not cultivated. Man. You Jakes were cultivated, which goes into what? Culture. You Jakes had the best culture there was the culture directly from the Heavenly Father. Man. Now you got gangster rap. Okay? Now you got voodoo. The voodoo. That's what you got, man. The sorcery, man. That wasn't the culture that was given to you by the Most High, man. You learned that from the heathen nations, man. Go ahead, man.
Verse 3, and now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem.
Oh, Catholic, yeah, being a Catholic. That's the same, that's witchcraft too. That's full of idol worship, man. That's madness. The Pope. Right? That's all madness. Christianity. That's all Satanism ultimately. I don't care what you try to dress it as. They're not serving the Heavenly Father following those customs, man. Read that again.
It says, verse 2, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof,
Yep.
and planted it with the choicest vine,
Yep.
and built a tower in the midst of it,
Right.
and also made a winepress therein.
Yep.
And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
That's it.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard.
Yeah.
What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
And really, there's nothing that could have been done. Jake is just a rebellious people, man. That's why the Lord says that they're a rebellious people, man. All right? You understand? The most rebellious out of all the nations, man. You understand? So there's really nothing more than the Most High that did. Go ahead.
And now, go to, and I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten
What's
up.
the hedge? The hedge is the protection. Okay, you will take away the protection thereof. Go ahead.
And it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be
Now,
trodden
who was it eaten up by? The other nations. The scripture said that the nations which have spoiled you. So you went from being a noble people to being destroyed and eaten up by the nations because that hedge was taken away. All right? Matter of fact, a little bit more on that. Okay, go ahead, but give me the account where it says if it's the power. You can take over. Go ahead.
It says, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
Right. And we've been trodden down as a nation. Jacob, okay, the Israelites, right? Read that those definitions, brother.
This is the definition of noble in the blue letter. It says choice species of vine, choice grapes.
Choice grapes. Okay? So we were the choice of all the nations. That's why the Lord chose us. Everything the Lord chose was the best of the best. Right. Okay? When he chose the land of Jerusalem is the best land there is on the earth. That's where the Fertile Crescent is. Okay, that's the most fertile land when it's in its best state. See, now it's cursed. So now it ain't nothing popular. Now they have to bring in trees, something they call the kibbutz. All right? But guess what? In its pure state, it's the most fruitful land there is, and the most beautiful land there is. You understand what I'm saying? All those hills and stuff like that. Right? You understand? But then when you come to different, the dove, we don't know the intricacies of why the Most High picked the dove as his favorite dove. Man. We don't know why. All right? Or why he picked the lamb as his favorite cattle, man. The lily. You know? There's intricacies in that, man. There's things that the Most High knows that you don't know. Because he said he didn't choose us because we were the most of all nations. But we were the fewest of all people, right? All right? What else you got? Okay. Yes, yep.
This is the definition of precious in the blue letter. It says valuable, prized. It says weighty, precious.
Well, that goes into talent. When you deal with talents, first of all, our people got the most talents of any people on the earth. Okay, any aspect, any category. Okay? Now, the word talent is an actual measurement. Meaning what? That means we're worth more than these other nations. Read that definition again.
This is the definition of precious in the blue letter. It says valuable, prized, weighty.
Weighty. Going into the talent. Okay? If you got a pound of gold versus 10 kilos of gold, you're going to take the 10 kilos of gold because that's worth a lot more than a pound of gold, man. Or the ounce of gold. Right? So our people are likened unto like 10 kilos of gold versus these other nations are likened unto dust.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the Lord spoke about them. They're actually counted as the small dust. They're not valuable in the sight of the Most High.
Good. It says precious, rare, splendid.
Rare. Israelite is really rare compared to the other nations. Okay, although we populate. All right, but guess what? There's more heathen than there are Israelites. When you look at the big screaming things, man. What is there? 18 nations, right? Or even a little bit more than that. They're more than us in number as a total, man, by far, right? So guess what? Jake is rare. What you got?
It says splendid. It says costly. It says highly valued. It says glorious, influential.
Influential. Ooh. Nobody's more influential than our people. That's a fact. That goes into the word precious, man. And guess what? Gold can influence something, man. You pull out a bar like, I don't want to do that. I don't want. Here's a kilo of gold if you do it. Oh, well, you know what? You know, I could tell them I'll do that next week. They'll start making excuses, man. Because the gold is influential. The Israelites are influential, man. How do they make these different? How did Grey Goose get popular? How did Hennessy get popular? By our people, man. Tupac and these different songs and stuff like that, man. They know if they want to make something pop, they got to give it to the so-called black community. They know that. Okay? They know that, especially the tribe of Judah, man. Especially the tribe of Judah, which are the so-called African American. They know they have to give it to them if they want it to really flourish. If they want it to be a trend, to really pop off. Because we are influential. Read those definitions again.
This is the definition of precious in the blue letter.
Right.
It says valuable.
Valuable, go ahead.
Prized,
Go ahead.
weighty.
Go ahead. Which I went into the definition of talent. And our people have the most talent on earth. A talent is a measurement, man. It's a weight. That's why it says weighty, man. You got a pound of something. You got a talent of something. A talent is way more than a pound, man. You understand? Michael Jordan, you can't listen, man. He's valuable for his talents. That's what makes somebody valuable. What they bring to the market, man. Their abilities, man. All this music you see, who created all this music, man? Israelites, man. That's right. Mainly the tribe of Judah, man. Okay, then you got the so-called Latinos and Native Americans as well, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's our talent. Go ahead. Keep going.
It says weighty, precious, rare, splendid. It says costly. It says highly valued. It says jewels, rare, glorious, weighty, influential.
Influential. I like that one. That last one, influential. Because Jacob makes something pop, man. Like I said, how did Hennessy get popular? How's Hennessy? No, the CEO should really be, he should marry all his daughters off to Jake's. He should be very thankful to the so-called black community. Hennessy, Grey Goose, Cristal. They made all that pop. But then Jay-Z stopped promoting it because that dude he showed himself to be so-called racist. But Jay-Z said, no, all these Edomites are racist. Don't you understand that? That's why you guys should all start your own brand. You know? But that's the point, is that Jake is influential. So they'll give these different brand deals to these, these Jake athletes, Jake rappers or whatever, for what? So that they could make it popular. So because they have influence. All right, and that's why they push wickedness to Jake. That's why Jake is the main. Zion Lex. What's her name? Zaya Wade. Why is always so-called black people the face of this fucking madness, this sickness? Because they're trying to influence the people in wickedness. They ain't gonna give it to Amalekites to do it. Ain't nobody following no Amalekites. You understand? Nobody, the Amorite doesn't influence nothing except for through their money. Other than that, they don't influence nobody. Man. Jake influences people through their spirit. That's how we influence, through our spirit and what we bring to the market. Man.
That's right. Like Tupac influence Versace.
Come on, man. Come on, bro. Versace, Gucci, all these things are popping because of so-called black people.
That's right. That's right.
Stupid, man. Guaranteed them sales went up about 10,000% after that song Versace came back up. Guaranteed a Biggie, Coogee sweater.
Gucci, yeah.
We made it pop. We made it pop. You got to give it to so-called black people to make these things flourish and be popular in the world. They understand that because Jake has the biggest influence. That's why every nation, it's like I'm rambling, so forgive me, all right? But all these different nations, they wanted to have Jake in captivity because they profited with Jake in captivity. Oh, give me that on the Laban when he had Jacob. He said, oh, you're going to let him go?
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. Salakia, brothers. Bring out some precepts. My fault, all right?
This is the book of when you also bringing it back to the statue of Daniel. What made those nations so great was that Israel was captive under these nations.
That's right.
Just to bring back up the points, right?
This is Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as the drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. Verse 17. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing.
So he looks at the other nations as nothing. This is the Most High speaking. You understand? As the small dust of the balance, meaning they're worthless. Okay? Jake, the Israelites, we're looked at as the Most High, as precious. Matter of fact, give me that where the apple of his eye. You got that? Got something else? Yeah. Okay. You have it? Apple of his eye? What is that? I'll get all. Okay, go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Right.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Right, Jake, Israel is above all nations that are on the face of the earth. The Most High made us that way. All right? It's not us that, they're saying that because they want to be supremacists. No, we're just saying that because it's the facts. Okay? The reason the Most High made us the way we are, right, is because he put the best in his people. All these, the way Jake knows, all the music that was created, it had to come from the Israelites. Give me the form of all things. Go ahead.
This is Zechariah 2, verse 8. For thus said the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
Right, he that toucheth who? Toucheth the Israelites. You touch one of his people, right? You touch his people, you're touching the apple of his eye. I mean, it's something that he values, man. Something that he cares about. That's like someone taking your beloved son and doing something evil to him, man. All right? You're going to have a grudge against that person, man. Just like the Most High has a grudge against them for what they did against us, man.
But good. I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, after the period of glory, the Lord of heaven's army sent me against the nations who plundered you.
Right?
For he said, anyone who harms you,
go ahead,
harms my most precious possession.
Right, my most precious possession. Because all these nations really belong unto the Heavenly Father technically. But we're the most valuable out of all the nations, man. The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. He said that we're above all other people, man. We're the ones that the nations are going to have to come to learn righteousness. That's the order of things, man. What you got?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 105 and verse 14. He suffered no man to do them wrong. He reproved kings for their sakes.
Right.
Saying, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm.
He said, touch my anointed and do my prophets no harm. Okay? So when they did that, what happened? That was an offense to the Most High. And they're going to have to get paid back for that, man. Point blank period. There has to be a judgment. Right. That's what else?
This is Exodus 19 and verse 5. Now therefore, it's like verse 6. Ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Right. So starting with the elect, we're coming back to that priesthood. We're coming back to that royalty, man. Okay? Which was lost through slavery, through the plundering, through the genocide, through the destruction. These things were lost in Jacob. You're really following the customs of the wicked. got, bro?
Laban? Genesis 30 and verse 26. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I serve thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee.
Right, because guess what? Jacob served Laban, which was his uncle, for 7 years for one of his daughters, and he worked another 7 years for the other daughter. Okay, you understand? So he said, "Give me my wives and what? And my sons, and let me go." All right. So also he had sons under them. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And Laban said unto him.
Under Laban he had sons. Go ahead.
And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry. For I have learned by experience that Yahweh hath blessed me for thy sake.
Woo, said yeah. He learned by experience that Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, has blessed him for having him in captivity. Because literally he was a slave unto Laban at that time. Jacob, which is our forefather, he was a slave unto Laban. But Laban said, listen, by experience I see that I'm getting blessed because I have you under me. You understand? Every nation that has us in captivity, they get blessed. You understand that? Read that again.
It says, and Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I found favor in thine eyes, tarry. For I have learned by experience that Yahweh hath blessed me for thy sake.
He's blessed me for your sake because you're here. All right? You see what I'm saying to you? So you want something to pop. If they want a business to flourish, they got to get Jakes. They got to start working with Jakes. Right? You're only going to go so far having a bunch of Edomites working for you. All right? Or other nations. You want to get Jake working for you. Right? Jake is going to come with that innovation. Esau's going to steal the idea. Oh, yeah, that sounds good, Jerome. Oh, yeah. And they'll go to the back room. Right? And they'll take it and give him nothing. You see? They flourish with Jake. All right? But guess what? It's coming to a time when the Lord is going to take us out of this situation. And we're going to flourish with them under us.
Right. So like, just to add on to, just as it says, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together and they refused to let them go. Why? Because they're getting blessed from having us under them. Right. Just as the brother said.
Right. And that's dealing with the sons. Because when you look at that word children, there's no word there for children. It's sons. There's always a separation between sons and daughters. Right? There's no real Hebrew word for children. Okay? The only thing you can say is maybe little ones. But when it says children, it's really sons. It's not them having the sons of Israel. Right.
Verse 28, and he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said, and he said unto him, thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hast before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude.
So he had a little bit before when Jacob was not there, but then when Jacob was under him, he multiplied. He was blessed. Don't you see why the so-called white man, he's never going to let you Jakes go? Because he's getting blessed right now having you Jakes in captivity, man. I'm going to say it like a Malcolm, like having you in captivity. All right? This is a fact. All right? And Esau understands that. The elite, well, at least the elites understand that. They understand that. Go ahead, what you got?
And Yahweh hath blessed thee since my coming. And now, when shall I provide for mine own house also?
Right, that's it. So I divided that to real quick. That means that Jacob, he had the knowledge of what to do to make the lambs, fornicate with each other to multiply, not fornicate. To lay on the way places. No, that's not fornication, it's adultery. It's like to procreate with one another. It's like
Ecclesiasticus 24 verse 1, it says, wisdom shall praise herself, and shall glory in the midst of her people. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth, and triumph before his power.
Yep.
I came out of the mouth of the Most High, and covered the earth as a cloud.
Right.
I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven, and walked in the bottom of the deep, in the waters of the sea, and in all the earth, and in every people and nation I got a possession.
Yeah.
With all these I sought rest, and whose inheritance shall I abide? So the Creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel.
So we had the wisdom. You see those pyramids in Egypt, the native Egyptians didn't build those pyramids.
Right.
It was us, the Israelites in slavery, built those pyramids.
Right.
And even to this day, the so-called white man Esau doesn't know how to build those pyramids. They don't know how to. They don't even understand how they did it without what they claim is, technology. Okay? They don't understand that even to this day, all this technology and AI they have, they can't figure it out. Okay? That was the wisdom of the Most High that allowed us to build those pyramids.
That's right.
You know those pyramids are aligned with the stars in a particular way
Yeah.
for left-hand energy, but at the end of the day, it's all spiritual. You see what I'm saying? Well, at least the Egyptians used it for left-hand energy. Okay? But that was the knowledge of the Most High. That's not something that they just were studying and they didn't enough. No, there was something the Most High opened their mind to get it, man. All right? So the Egyptians like, we got to keep these people around. They did this, they built that, they taught us how to do this and that. Oh, well, didn't they put the Native Americans in slavery? Didn't they teach them how to cultivate the land? And teach them guerrilla warfare? Esau learned guerrilla warfare from the Native Americans. Because how these stupid Edomites used to fight with the guns, they used to be in a line. Bop, 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 bop. And whoever gets hit with the gun just drops. They didn't hide, they didn't do no dodging, they didn't do nothing. They stood in a line and walked with the musket guns like a team. So the Gadites is like, this is no good, no good, no good. All right? The stupid one, that stupid Edomite. All right? Then they have to show them what's up. All right? No, you have to dress like the land. Okay? They show me, yo, put the green on. Put the green, the dark green. You know, stay in the bushes. Because when they had the musket guns, they couldn't deal with the native. Gad was running up, they would play games with it. They'll be somewhere that they'll have the musket gun shaking. They'll pop out of somewhere, the bush or something, slap them in the face and run back. No, seriously, they used to play games like that. Okay? Why? Because they understood guerrilla. That's where they got guerrilla warfare from, man. Okay? So anything that makes their society flourish comes from us, man. From men. From men, not from us. From the Israelites, man. Alright? You better look it up, man. You look it up, be crazy, look it up. Where you get all this music from? Where you get rock and roll from? Answer that question. Who's the first rock and roll player? I'm asking you, buddy. Chuck Berry, better look it up, buddy. Better look it up, buddy. Okay? Which is a so-called black man. Anything you got from us. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Real quick, because you mentioned the pyramids, you have to. That comes from our understanding that the Lord gave unto us. That's how you know that even on this side, the Mayans, which were Israelites, they built pyramids also. They also built their own pyramids.
Who?
The Mayans on this side.
That's right. Which proves they're Israelites.
Yeah, exactly.
Proves they're Israelites. And it replicates the pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah. That the same way was aligned with the stars, the same way here.
Yeah. But the fact that these people are so flipping bugged out and gone, they'll say, oh no, it was ancient aliens that built that. Because they're so bugged out. And because they don't understand that technology today, they think that there's no way that humans built that back then. Because really, these people are not evolving, they're devolving. They're really becoming stupid. Okay? And especially you Jakes, because you Israelites are supposed to be above all the nations.
Right. This is Daniel 1 and verse 3. It says, and the king spake unto Athanas, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored. Well favored. It says, and skillful in all wisdom.
They weren't cannibals, brother. Read it again.
It says, Daniel 1 and verse 4, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning and knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
Right, because see, back then, the people that were high up in society, right, in those ancient, they didn't just kill them because they had particular knowledge, right? They had things that they wanted to use, you know? Maybe knowledge of the land, knowledge of different things, right? Jake, our people, we had the best knowledge and the top knowledge. So when they took Jacob, they started to flourish, okay? When they took Daniel in and Shadrach, Meshach, and the rest of them, they started to flourish because they were teaching them things that their magi's and their so-called wise men didn't know.
But it says, in whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. I'm going to jump to verse 20. It says, in all manners of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better.
What?
He found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm.
Read that again. Read that again. This is Nebuchadnezzar. Okay? He found our nobles better, 10 times better than his own wise men. Because that's what the magicians were. They were considered the wise men at that time. Read that again.
This is Daniel 1.
What's wrong with you Jakes now, man? You Jakes with your low self-esteem now. What happened to you, man? That's why we cursing Jake out, man. Walking and head be down, hands dragging, knuckles dragging the floor, man. You've been destroyed by this society, man. To the point you hate yourself. You don't just hate yourself, you hate your own brothers, your own people. That's why sometimes you look at Jake and Jake will give you a dirty look.
Yeah.
And you basically you're about to say, what's up, brother, you know? And they're looking.
Yeah.
You know? You can see you got a hatred demon on you, man. This is how our people are today, man. You know? That's why you gotta let the Most High kill them off, man. And save the best from the worst, man.
That's right, that's right.
But we can't save them anyway. It's the Most High who has to do it. It's Yahweh Shai who got to deliver them.
That's right.
And if they're not meet for deliverance, they're not going to make it.
That's right.
Go ahead, bro.
Daniel 1 and verse 20, it says, and in all manners of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better.
So he found our noblemen 10 times better. Go ahead.
Than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm.
Right. There ain't no reason why you, Jake, really, trust me, man. All of our people, see the brothers who have daughters and sons, they do better than these other kids in their schools, man. Because their mind is not like the average Jake. Right? Even them so-called Nigerians, when they come over, because they don't think like you Jakes in Jamaica, Jakes in Haiti, Jakes that come from, these places that were in captivity. They don't think the same, especially those Nigerians. They actually teach their children to be better. So when they go to these, to some extent, not fully, but to some level, all right? So they actually are the best, like when it comes to education, they actually beat every other nation when they immigrate, man. Okay? Our people are really supposed to be dominating every sector, man, of life. And it's really an embarrassment when you don't. You should be embarrassed, man. You should be ashamed of yourself. Go ahead, brother.
I mean, I too, there's a reason why these different kings, they wanted Israel, the nobles, under them to give them certain counsels.
That's right.
For sure, they knew the history of Israel. They knew about Solomon's kingdom. They knew how that the laws that we kept, it elevated us as a people. So they wanted to inquire of that, how can I apply that knowledge to my kingdom? That's right. To grow my kingdom even faster and have more subjects under me. That's right. That's why they had the nobles under them.
Right. But they couldn't do it. Those demons were controlling them, so they couldn't really fully do it. They will always go back to their gods and their ways. Well,
this is Daniel 2 and verse 9. Verse 8. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you.
Right.
For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me.
Right.
Till the time be changed. Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretation thereof.
Right. So he wanted them to he wanted his magi's and his wise men to break down his dream. And if they couldn't break it down, he's like, what use are you of me? Why are you in this position in the first place. I'm gonna put you to death. That's what he said, right? So it was serious because Daniel and them and the other Israelites, they were also known as the wise men of the king. So they had to come up. Somebody had to break this down to them. Go ahead.
Verse 10, the Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore, there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such things at any magician,
Right.
or astrologer, or Chaldean. And it is rare. It says, and it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh.
Right. Read that again.
Verse 10, it says, the Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore, there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such things at any magician, or astrologer, or Chaldean.
Right.
And it is a rare thing that the king requireth.
Right, because he's asking them to break down the dream. They don't even know what he dreamed.
Yeah.
Just break it down. All right, all, that's all. You know what I'm saying? You need You need spiritual intervention for that. But they were supposed to be spiritual.
Right.
They were magi's on the left hand side. They're supposed to be have contact with the spirits, right? So now this was a test for them. Go ahead.
And it is a rare thing that the king requireth. And there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon.
Right, because this is why he had them there for this particular situation. So he got mad when they couldn't break down a dream that he desperately wanted to know. Right?
Verse 13, and the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain.
Yep.
I'm going to jump to verse 23. It says, I thank thee and praise thee, O Yahweh, power of my fathers, who has given me wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch.
Because it's a wise thing to break down a dark saying. There's no explanation in it. All right? You just got to try to put the puzzle. It's a puzzle, ultimately. You got to put it together. That has to be revealed into you, man. Even Nikola Tesla, which he was a Jake, okay? He said that he got that understanding in a dream. Okay? And the Most High will have, and he only does that for our people. He only does that for the Israelites to work with us in dreams and things like that, right? In the spirit or visions and things like that to create things. Mostly, I'll say mostly, because he does work with heathens at certain levels, but mostly he works with our people. Good. Can't finish that off?
This is Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of the Most High to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter.
That's it. Go ahead.
It says, verse 24, Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. And he went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation.
Right. So, and then what? He broke it down to the king. Okay? And everyone else couldn't get it. None of these other wise men in the kingdom could have gotten it. See? But he gave it unto one of the Israelites. All right? See, this is why these other nations, they wanted Jake in captivity. What you got?
So there's another account of the same thing. This is from the book of Tobit, 1 and verse 21. It says, And there passed not 55 days before two of his sons killed him, and they fled into the mountains of Ararat, and Sarchedonus, his son, reigned in his stead, who appointed over his father's accounts and over all his affairs Achiarus, my brother Anael's son. So Tobit's nephew was over the affairs of the king of Syria.
Oh wow. So Wow, there we go. You understand? So even amongst the Assyrians, they always had to have Israelites in those high positions. They always had to have Israelites under them, man. Okay, to show them things. We had to show them things. Yo, bro, all these inventions, matter of fact, all these inventions, the cotton gin and these different things, the shoemakers and things like that, that came from so-called black people. It's slavery. They were making these things to make their work more efficient. They were actually creating these things. All right? Oh, the real McCoy made the train system. I mean, not the train, the lubrication system that allowed the trains to continue to go. That was a so-called black man. All right? So they get their ideas from us, from Israel, man. What are you talking about, man? See, this is what makes it beneficial to have Jake constantly under you. Because Jake is the one with all the innovation and the understanding that comes from the Most High. And that's in our lower state, man. You know what type of things what was in the time of Solomon? How Jake was moving, man? How Jake was living in the time of Solomon? You have no idea how Jake was living in the time of Solomon. All right? The way they dealt with plants, the way they dealt with... First of all, the scriptures say if the king is a certain way, the people are a certain way. King Solomon was the wisest king there was, man. All right? It was so, our people were so on a glorious level. They thought the doorkeeper was King Solomon, or was King Solomon, man. That's how high the level our people were at, man. And the doorkeeper's a low level, all right? Or was it the cupbearer? I think it actually was the cupbearer. I think it was the cupbearer, man. That's a low level, man. That's you know what I'm saying? That's a guy to go get the cup, pour the wine, and she thought he was the king, man.
This is our second.
A little bit more?
Verse 22, and Achiacharus, entreating for me, I returned to Nineveh. Now Achiacharus was cupbearer and keeper of the...
Maybe the Lord might have mercy on him. Go ahead.
Yep, it says, now Achiacharus was cupbearer and keeper of the signets, and steward and overseer of the accounts.
Yeah, overseer of the accounts.
And Sarchedonus appointed him next unto him, and he was my brother's son.
Right. Because who taught Egypt mathematics and things like that? It was Abraham, man. Okay? You see? So everything comes from the sons of God, man. That's what
2 Chronicles 9 and verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, she came to prove Solomon with hard questions at Jerusalem.
Yeah. And you know there wasn't no regular questions, you know? They know they deliberate, they were put it together because they only have a certain time. You don't got infinite time with the king.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so they made sure that she had to prepared. Yeah. Oh, this now no one could answer this question. Boom, boom, bam, bam, bam. You know? Good.
With a very great company, and camels that bear spices, and gold in abundance, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart.
Right.
And Solomon told her all her questions. And there was nothing hid from Solomon which he told her not.
Woo, nothing hid from him from who? From the Most High. The Most High revealed everything to you. Right?
And when the queen of Sheba had seen the wisdom of Solomon,
so that was a spiritual guru back then. Solomon was a spiritual guru. Anything she wanted to know, Solomon basically pulled it out to her, man. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, and when the queen of Sheba had seen the wisdom of Solomon, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the abundance of his ministers, their apparel, his cupbearers also, and their apparel.
Oh man.
It says, and his assets by which he went up into the house of Yahweh,
Brother,
there was no more spirit in her.
There was no more spirit. She could barely even stand up. And she'd been to other kingdoms. Okay? There's other kingdoms, kings
Right.
they always had world things around the world, nice apparel things, you know what I'm saying? You understand? But King Solomon was on a whole nother level. Okay? That was a whole nother level. And you know what? Back then, families actually wore particular colors and things like that. And had a little signet. Like when you see in Game of Thrones, that's how it was. And we're going back to that time. When we rule again, we're going back to that time. Okay? Everything's going to go back in order, man. A married woman's going to wear a particular thing, and an unmarried woman's going to wear a particular. That's confusion. That in itself is wickedness. All right? It just makes sense, man. To have a married woman wear a certain thing, and to have a woman that's single wear a certain thing. It just makes sense. You know, it stops any confusion. You know, but not in this society because this is a place without order. It's a place that with complete chaos, man. Go ahead.
Verse 5, and she said to the king, it was a true report which I heard in mine own land of thine acts and of thy wisdom. Howbeit, I believe not their words, until I came, and mine eyes had seen it. And behold, the one half of the greatness of thy wisdom was not told me, for thou exceedest the fame that I heard.
Read it again.
God, it says, and she said to the king, it was a true report which I heard in mine own land of thine acts and of thy wisdom. Howbeit, I believe not their words, until I came, and mine eyes had seen it. And behold, the one half of the greatness of thy wisdom was not told me.
It was not even half explained how great this king was. And usually, when someone's explaining something about another person back in that time, they usually would probably over-exaggerate.
Yeah.
Oh, his splendor was magnificent when he walked into the room, you know what I mean? His afro was perfectly designed, you know what I mean? Symmetrically designed. Right? You know, they were more likely they were boosted up, right? So she said, nah, they downplayed the glory, man. Go ahead, man.
It says, for thou exceedest the fame that I heard.
And we're going back to that time where our people are going to be on that level, right? But way higher, on a way higher level than them. We're going to exceed the glory of King Solomon, man. Go ahead, bro.
It says, happy are thy men.
Yep.
Happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee.
Even his servants were happy, man. Cupbearers. He'll never be happy in this kingdom. Even people who are on a high level, they ain't happy in this kingdom. Jumping off of buildings and shit. Killing themselves. Right? And then they're being rich. Because it's a wicked, evil kingdom, man. It's unjust. Alright? But guess what? In our kingdom, guess what? The servants, there's going to be a time, okay, the heathen have to get punished. Okay, Esau and the rest of the heathen, of course they're going to get punished. But there's going to be a time when the heathen, except for the Edomites, they're going to get to live and just enjoy the kingdom. Go ahead.
Khan, this is the book of Isaiah.
Yep.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 18.
Yep.
All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory.
Right, so this is after their punishment. They're going to be able to lie in glory. Go ahead.
Every one in his own house.
Meaning in their own land. Go ahead.
But thou art cast out of thy grave.
But you Edomites, so-called white man, if you will. Okay, go ahead.
Like an abominable branch.
You're going to be looked at as scum, right? And then you're going to be exterminated.
Right.
Okay? You're not going to get to enjoy that. Right. Because of the wickedness that you've done. Right. Go ahead.
And as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as carcasses trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial.
You're not going to get to enjoy it like the other nations. Right. That's what it means. Go ahead.
Because thou hast destroyed thy land.
Because you've destroyed the earth. The land represents the earth because the earth is in his control. All these chemical companies, the plastic industry, that's the so-called white man that came up with that madness. Right. That wickedness. It wasn't the East Indians who did that shit. Right. All right? These other nations, the Babylonian Empire, they weren't thinking about doing this shit. Right. Right? Chemtrails. Cars that run off of fossil fuel and shit. Don't you know they already had the technology many years ago to run off of water? Yeah. But they didn't want that because there was no money in that, man. This devil's all about profit to the point he'll destroy the whole planet. And that's why the Lord said, okay, since you want to destroy the planet, you're going to be destroyed.
That's right. That's right.
And not only that, he destroyed his people. Right. Go ahead.
It says, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people.
Right.
The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
You're not going to be renowned. You're not going to be, what does it mean to be renowned? It means to have a good name, to be glorified. All right? Right now, these devils will come in the suit and people will reverence them now. But in that time, when we're in power, when Yahushua comes and takes these devils down, yo, the scum is going to be the scum. Yeah. Okay? And the princely and the righteous are going to be the righteous.
That's right.
And they're going to be glorified. Right? Good is going to be set up. Right. A woman twerking ain't going to be, thumbs up, do you, queen. That ain't going to go down in our kingdom. Right? A man being an adulterer. Okay? sleeping with another man's woman. That's not going to be able to go down in our kingdom, man, and be glorified, man. Okay? There's going to be order set up, man. That's right. Okay? But children being disobedient to parents, being disrespectful to the elders, that's going to be done away with too. Order is going to be established. You cannot have peace without order, man. That's right. Where there's disorder, there's chaos, and there's no rest, man. You see it? Go ahead, bro.
The book of Job 18 and 17, his remembrance shall perish from the earth.
That's right.
And he shall have no name in the street.
Meaning his name is gonna be dirt in the street. Okay? What you got?
This is Job 20 and verse 8. He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. And I also, which saw him, shall see him no more. Neither shall his place any more behold him.
That's right. That's right. So, anyways, that's it. That's dealing with Esau, Edom. Okay? But we're dealing with the. You find anything on that, brother?
About Solomon?
Yeah. His kingdom. All right. Because the splendor. Because we're coming back to that. We're going to surpass that splendor. All right, in our kingdom. Matter of fact, get me Revelation 21, bro. You got something else that ties into what we're saying, Chris? You got something on Solomon? Oh yeah, read that.
This is our 2 Chronicles chapter 9 and verse 14. Verse 13. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. Besides that, with Chapman.
Look at what a talent is. Look at what a talent is. And I believe that was billions of dollars, if I'm not mistaken. But look up what a talent is. That's all we need to do. Look up what a talent is. Okay? In the ancient world. I know looking in Google. All right? That, I believe, was going into billions of dollars a year. Read that again.
It says, now the weight of gold that came to King Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. Besides that, with Chapman,
660 talents of gold, right?
Says, besides that, with Chapman, the merchants brought, and all the kings of Arabia and governors of the country brought gold and silver to Solomon. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of beaten gold went to one target, and 300 shields made he of beaten gold. 300 shekels of gold went to one shield.
Okay, hold that. Read that.
It says right here, some calculate the talent in the parable to be equivalent to 20 years of wages for the common worker. Since other scholars estimate more conservatively value of the New Testament talent somewhere between $1,000 to $30,000 today.
Ain't no 1,000, but closer to $30,000. The reason why the ruler he set up he gave a certain amount of talents to those servants. That was a large amount. That's why he said he would you could have gave it to the bank, not the bank, but the exchangers, so you can get usury of it. That was a big amount. Okay, so let's do half of that. Let's do 15,000. Do 15,000 times 660. Do 15,000 times 660. Okay. The Babylonian talent says was 30.2 kilos. Okay, what does it say? It's only like a couple million if that's the case. It says 50,000 times 660. Okay, read that again.
It says, now the weight of gold that came to King Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold.
Also 666. Okay.
Right? It says now 9,900,000.
Which, see, you can't put that in today's money. All right, today's money is very much the value. It's not the same. Listen, man, there's something off of that. You sure it said what it said, brother?
But I got it here in the New Testament.
Because if you do 30 kilos, do 30. You got it in the New Testament? Yeah. What does it say?
It says 2 Chronicles 9:9. It says, then she gave the king.
I don't sound right. Go ahead.
It says, then she gave the king a gift of 9,000 pounds of gold, great quantities of spices. 9,000 pounds.
Okay. Well, that's who. That's the gold. Yeah, but we're not talking about it. We're talking about what he got in general. This is talking about what he got in general. 660 talents. All right. So 1,000 pounds would be over $1 billion. 1,000 talents would be over $1 billion. Right. That sounds good. That sounds closer to what we're talking about. We're talking about like 600 something million. 700 million. All right, what you got? I read the wrong piece of this. Verse 13, it says, each year Solomon received about 25 tons of gold.
Okay,
right.
tons.
Right. Okay. So they're saying that's about 660 million. But you can look at what a ton, how much tons is it? 25 tons. Well, look at what 25 tons is worth right now. Okay. Look up gold versus USD, and then look it up in tons. You got go ahead.
Jump into verse 17.
A ton is 1,000 pounds. I believe a ton is 1,000 pounds. Is that correct? Yeah? But
It says, moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with pure gold. And there was 6 steps to the throne,
right.
with the footstool of gold, which was fastened to the throne, and the stays of each side of the sitting place, and 2 lions standing by the stays.
Right, so he put that gold to use. All right? He put that gold to use. And we see, based upon what we're reading here, how glorious that kingdom was, man. Okay? If that's the Israel. When Israel gets into something, especially to make things fly and, stunt, we know how to do that, right? Which there's even an account that King Solomon, he braided gold into his hair. That's something a Jake down south would do right now. Don't they got gold teeth and shit? That's what King Solomon did. He braided gold into his hair. Okay? And which white guy has braids in his hair? Cornrows, man. King Solomon was a so-called black man. All right? So go ahead. What you got?
It says here in
Black and beautiful. That's what he said in Wisdom of Solomon. Go ahead.
Second Chronicles.
Because guess what? King David was common. King David was a good looking man. Okay? Go ahead.
Second Chronicles 1:1, and Solomon, the son of David, was strengthened in his kingdom, and the Lord, his power, was with him, and magnified him exceedingly. Verse 11, and the Most High said to Solomon, because this was in thine heart, and thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thy enemies, neither yet hast thou asked long life, but hast asked wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people, over whom I have made thee king. Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee, and I will give thee riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee, neither shall there be any after thee to have the like. So again, just to say that Solomon surpassed all these kings in wealth and wisdom and honor, even to this day. Okay? So it says here in verse 15, and the king made silver and gold at Jerusalem plenteous as stones, and cedar trees made he as the sycamore tree that were in the vow for abundance. I'll just read that again. And the king made silver and gold at Jerusalem as plenteous as stones. So just as you're walking around, you see stone on the floor. That's how the amount of gold that was in the kingdom of Solomon. Okay. So again, it says here. Second Chronicles 9:5, pertaining to Queen Sheba, and she said to the king, "It was true. It was a true report which I heard in my own land of thine acts and of thy wisdom. Howbeit I believed not their words until I came, and mine eyes had seen it. And behold, 1/2 of the greatness of thy wisdom was not told me, for thou exceeded the fame that I heard."
Right, because speaking of King Solomon. Well, that's the same. Isn't that the same one that we read? Right. Right. His fame exceeded what you heard. All right. Anyways, so according to that, do 62 million times 8.5.
Let's finish off this one. Verse 19, it says, and 12 lions stood on the one side and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. And all the drinking vessels of King Solomon were of gold. And all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. There was not anything accounted of in the days of Solomon.
Hold on. Give me a second. You gotta read that again. But give me a second. See, according to this, the amount of gold that the brother read about 660 talents, according to what they're saying in the NLT, it would be equivalent to about what 1 billion. 1,500,000,000. Okay? See what I'm saying? 1,500,000,000. That's what he was getting per year. All right. So that's how much King Solomon was balling. So we're gonna surpass that level in the kingdom. Okay? That was every year now. All right.
We'll read it again. And 12 lions stood on the one side.
And that's not including all the other stuff he was getting. That's not including the myrrh and spices, which is all valuable. Cattle. Okay? Go ahead. All we know is that he was at minimum $1 billion. Go ahead.
And 12 lions stood there on the one side and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. And all the drinking vessels of King Solomon were of gold. And all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold.
Right.
None were of silver. It was not anything accounted of in the days of Solomon.
Yeah, that'd be an insult to bring him a silver cup. All right. So this is how it is. Right. So, and it was to the point where, when you read the Josephus, did you find any information, man?
Just the back.
You got some information on something? But anyways, it was to the point that if a fly were to go on a plate, a gold plate, he would shoot the whole plate out. That's how balling King Solomon was. All right. If a fly would have came on the plate, he would have shoot the whole plate in the garbage. And you know what? That's welfare right there. If anyone could go in King Solomon's trash, he'd become wealthy. See what I'm saying? So that's how Jake was, and that was spiritual right there. It was a reason he did that in the spirit. That was to help people. You didn't have to do that. All you had to do was
you're probably asking about the payment for the...
But now he said, this is going to be the welfare system. All right?
Real quick, it says a few facts about Solomon. It says here he possessed the entire promised land in peace. It says here he brought Israel to its peak of power. So again, when Solomon was ruling, that was the top of Israelites' rulership on the earth. Okay, because from the time that Solomon died, the power of Israel only decreased. So again, he brought Israel to the peak of its power and possessed the entire promised land in peace. It says again.
Yep. Good.
Solomon ruled over a vast territory.
That's all you got, bro.
Most of the other things. Well, I have precepts though.
Okay, all right, cool, bro. That's all they see. It's like, I don't know how we can't find, and I know it's difficult to find information on it, and it was such a great time. So Esau's hiding information. Because they have all the records on King Solomon and King David, right? But they're not going to bring it up because they know that's going to expose them.
But just at that precept I read pertaining to how the Lord blessed Solomon and told him that there's not going to be any king that's going to that's going to surpass you in riches, in wealth, and in honor. And now these people, they talk about Mansa Musa, he was the richest man alive. That's lies. Okay, because the Lord is not going to lie. He said Solomon was is going to be the richest man, and just as the other precept I read.
No precept you talking about? Well, actually, find what I'm talking about. But read that again, please. What you're talking about? I didn't even notice that. That's a great point.
That's Second Chronicles.
Ready already. If you can read it again.
Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles 1 and 11.
Yeah, but you read it. But he already has something.
Okay. So like it says here, Second Chronicles 1 and 11, and the Most High said to Solomon, because this was in thine heart, and thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither yet hast thou asked long life, but hast asked wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people, over whom I have made thee king, wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee, and I will give thee riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee, neither shall there any after thee have the like.
Really, so you can't really quantify Solomon's wealth based upon trying to calculate gold. Okay? Because really he surpassed all these kings. Okay? All the excess that the Rothschilds are doing, they passed Solomon in riches. Okay? You see what I'm saying to you? They got gold and stuff, but they didn't pass Solomon in gold. Okay? They didn't pass him in the wealth that he had. They got a lot of numbers on a computer. That's not true wealth. You understand what I'm saying? And they definitely ain't passing in glory. Everyone hates them. Everyone hates the rulers of this place. So, you know what I'm saying?
When you jump to verse 15, it says, and the king made silver and gold at Jerusalem as plenteous as stones, and cedar tree made he as a sycamore tree that are in the valley of more abundance.
Oh, you got it? Well, read that, because that's what he's going to do in the kingdom again. He's going to make gold for us like grass. It's going to be nothing else, right? All right? Go ahead, bro.
This is Isaiah 60 and verse 17. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood, and for stones iron. It says, and I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness.
That's it, man. So the Lord is going to bring us back to that level and exalt us even higher than him as a nation. Okay? This is what all the prophets were looking for. This is what all the righteous Israelites were looking for. They were looking for the restoration of the nation of Israel. Right? They said, "Oh, without
this is the book of Acts. Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. When they were therefore come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
Wilt thou at this time restore the kingdom again to Israel?" Because when we have the kingdom before, under King David and King Solomon. Go ahead. Yep. We're going to read it again? Okay. I want you to read it again.
This is Acts 1 and verse 6. It says, when they were therefore come together, they asked of him, saying...
Who were they asking of? They were asking of the Lord back then 2,000 years ago. Okay, they asked the Lord, Yahweh Shai, what?
Saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
This is what it's all about. They knew the Lord coming was all about restoring the kingdom to Israel. Okay? Because at that time they were in captivity under the Romans. So they said, are you going to at this time restore us back to that former state? Okay? Which really he's going to exalt us past that state. Right? Keep talking about the restore. Really, they were wrong. He's going to exalt us past. We're going past that state, man. We're going to have perfect bodies, man. That's right. We're going to have control of the elements, literally.
It says, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power.
Right, it's not for us to know the time and season that the Father put in his own power, because all the prophecies have not been taking place yet. We're at the time when Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back. All right, and when he comes back, that's when he's going to restore the kingdom. That's when life is going to flourish on earth. Okay? Not a second before all the prophecies are done. Are fulfilled, that have to be fulfilled on this side.
This is Revelation 21 and verse 1. And it reads, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, come down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
That's when we come down from the ships, the chariots. Okay, after the destruction, then come back. We're going to come down. That's going to represent New Jerusalem. That's going to represent the new kingdom. Okay, the elected nation of Israel.
Verse 3. It says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power.
That's right.
And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
That's right. He's going to wipe away all the tears from our people's eyes, from the Israelites. Right?
And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying.
No more death for who? The way the Christians say, oh, everyone's going to live forever. No, there's no more death for us, for the Israelites. You're going to die. We might have to prove it to you. Okay? We might have vocab there in captivity. You still think that love is for everybody? You still think that all live in Christ Jesus? Or we might just have to put you to death just to prove it. Right? Put somebody to death in front of you. You know, see if he wakes up. See if he's going, kick him, run, shake him. See if he wakes up. We might have to do that, okay? Just to make a point. All right? Go ahead, man.
It says, no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are past
I'm being
away.
facetious, all right? We ain't just going to put nobody to death for no reason. All right? But these heathen, they're going to have to pay. And if they step out of line, we have power to do it and put them in death. Because guess what? That's part of the judgment. Okay? We're just gonna make an example. He'll come here. You know? You know what I'm saying? If it was a wicked Edomite that was wicked back, he's just gonna be ruled over with rigor. And we might put the spirit in him to do something wicked so that we can put him to death. You know that? Go ahead, bro.
It says, and there shall be no more pain, for the former things are past
No,
away.
go ahead. You can pass it. Go ahead. That was it on that? Go ahead.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 13 and verse 16. For Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires, emeralds, and precious stones.
See how these buildings are? They got all these bricks on it and stones on it. Well, our kingdom, the stones are going to be precious stones. You know, sapphire, rubies. And you're going to see the building from afar. You don't need no lights. You're going to see the building from afar. You're going to see it shining from afar. Damn, which one is the car's house? Which one is Mahaya's house? No, that's not Mahaya's house. That's the car. That's the car bunker. No, you can see the car. You see the burgundy? That's the cars. That's the pot. Oh, the gold trim with the that's the posh, the blue sapphire car. That's the posh. All right. Oh, I watched the onyx stones mixed with the Dalmatian stones. You understand what I'm saying? They gonna know who's who, man. It's gonna be good. And we're gonna have our own signet, our own vibration, man, upon our family and upon the people that are in our kingdom, or in our realm, so to speak. If you understand what I'm saying. We're all each gonna have our own little empire, so to speak. You know? So if you like to wake up with hot chocolate, the hot chocolate is gonna be there. It's gonna be hot. All right, when you wake up. All right? It's like it, brother. I'm just envisioning this stuff. Okay, let's finish that off.
It says, for Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stones.
That's right.
Thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold.
Right, with pure gold, man. Pure gold. Yeah?
And the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir. And all her streets shall say, Hallelujah, and they shall praise him, saying, Blessed be Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai, which has extolled it forever.
You know how crazy, how beautiful that's going to look? You're going to have the gardens, and the gardens are going to be masterful, right? And it's going to be, the state of the earth is going to be restored to the Garden of Eden, all right? So the gardens are going to be masterful. But then on top of that, you're going to have the gold that's pavement around the gardens, man. All the precious stones and stuff like that, man. See, Esau doesn't know how to live. Esau doesn't know how to live and really stunt, man. You got them billionaires, they just look like bumps. But don't get it twisted. They're not wearing Walmart shirts. No. A lot of them, they got them shirts $12,000 for the shirt. But it should look, it's just a regular trim shirt. You know? Which I like to do that too. I like, not 12,000 obviously, but I like to get a more expensive shirt, but it's just plain. But it fits different. See, Jake don't understand that. Jake will get the thing with the Gucci everywhere, the Gucci headband, like he's a fucking billboard for Gucci. All right? But it's not as quality as the regular type of shirt that looks regular, but it falls different. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro.
Isaiah 65 and 24. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer.
Right.
And while they are yet speaking, I will hear.
So the Lord's going to give us our heart's desire before we even ask for it. Right? And see, listen, man, as soon as the destruction comes, as soon as we're in the chariots, that's it. Pain, suffering, everything is just going to be bright from there on. Man. From there on, it's nothing but brightness. Nothing but, the scriptures speak about the sun of righteousness. Yeah. Yeah, you get that one too. Okay. Why is it reference him as the sun? And it's spelled S-U-N. Why is it referencing him as the sun? Because the sun is what's getting ready to rise. The sun of Israel is right. The nation of Israel is going to rise. This is Esau's night. We're in Esau's midnight. Right. Or midnight of cry was heard. Go ahead, real quick, from the add to your point. Even in the scriptures, it says that how that the Most High already prepared the kingdom for us. So as the brother read, it makes sense that before we think of something, he's already going to give it, man. The prize is already there. He already has what you like already. It's already there for you, man. You know, showing you how that the Lord loves His people, man. How is Jake? How do we act? How do we be real, right? How does Jake act? When Jake does something, let's say Jake is doing something he doesn't sick. Let's say he makes a song or something. He's like, oh, you heard that? And then he's jamming to his own song. He's like, no, we're gonna put this in there. And once I do this ad lib, you know? Bird, the bird is at the perfect time, you know? Jake is like, yo, this is the compa. Oh, yo, this is when the beat hits a certain way. You know? This is my favorite part. Okay? Yes. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Jake be like, yo, he'd be excited for people to hear it. Yeah. Right? So the Most High, Yahweh Shai is up there like, oh my goodness, wait till they see this. Yeah. They know it's up. Wait till they see this. Oh, they don't even know. They know they're trying to imagine. They don't even know what they're fighting for. Right? Yo,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It says no eye had seen.
They don't even know what is in the store. That's what the Most High Yahweh Shai is up there saying right now. They're looking at us like they're trying to imagine. And Posh, you know, he's just a low. He's on a low. He's not on the level of, you know. He's not on. You know. He's just a man on the earth. You know. Yeah. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 2 and verse 9. Well, as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard.
So that means you haven't seen it in a dream. You talk about, oh, my woman had a dream of the king. That's not the king. That's a replica. That's a poor representation of the king.
Shadows of things to come.
It says nor ear.
What was that, brother?
A shadow of things to come.
That's right. A shadow, you don't see the colors in the shadow. You don't see the facial features in the shadow. Right? You just see black. Black. Right.
It says, but as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of men.
Never even entered into our minds yet. Go ahead.
The things which Yahweh hath prepared for them that love Him.
Like I told you, man, Yahweh is up there with Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is putting, oh, this, that, oh, this, there, put this. And his mind is on the subject. Come on, man. His ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So he knows when something is popular. Jake might show you a freak. He might think he's freestyling good. You're like, okay, all right, brother. Yo, I'll go to the bathroom, no? Go ahead.
This is John 14 and verse 2. It says, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you.
That's right. The place is already prepared. The kingdom is already prepared for us. All right? It's going to be so glorious we can't even put it in words for you, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be a replica of what's in the heavens. We're gonna have things on here like what's in the heavens, man. The colors we're gonna see is gonna be different. All right?
So like, if I may add to your point real quick, it's heavy you make that statement because even Apostle Paul, when he saw the fourth dimension or the spirit world, he couldn't even utter the things that he saw. And like the brother said, you know, the kingdom is basically going to be a replica of the things in the heavens. So you can see how that our minds right now can't even comprehend what the Lord has prepared for us, man. Even if the Lord wanted to show us, man, yo, you would drop dead, man. You know, because the flesh cannot contain the knowledge and the wisdom of Yahweh Shai, man, at its fullest. That's why we need new bodies. Go ahead.
Matthew 6 and verse 10, thy kingdom comes, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
That's right.
On earth as it is in heaven, man. A replica, man. Hey, just like when Moses received, you know, basically the guideline on how to build the tabernacle, he received the things that was in the heavens, man. You know? That's how he made the tabernacle, the altar, so on and so forth, man.
Right.
So the same way the kingdom on earth is going to be as the things in heaven, man.
All right? That's right. And what's in the heavens? Perfect order. Okay, there's perfect order in the heavens. But there's also a beauty that you can't even describe. You know? A glory that you can't even describe. All right, you got that?
Wow.
1 Corinthians 13 and 9. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part.
Right.
But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away.
Because you kind of know. When you imagine.
What you
This
got?
is part, this in part, you know. But when it comes,
Yeah.
You got that?
1 Corinthians 13 and verse 12. It says, for now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as I am known.
In other words, the way you see me, the way you see him in front of you, see me in front of you, you're going to see him. All right? But read that. Read that. This is the one thing you got to understand is when the flood came, the earth changed.
Yeah.
All right? The earth didn't have the same vibration when the flood came. Matter of fact, men started to die fasting. Okay? The Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man. Therefore, his years shall be 125, 120. Okay? Right? Yeah, but then it went down to 80. Right? So the first one was like 125. So things changed once that flood came, brother. The islands were separated. Notice the earth is like a puzzle. Africa goes into Brazil or whatever, and Brazil, they all fit together, they all connect together because at one time they were together. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah 42 and verse 15. I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools.
Yep. That's right. Right. So what's that going to be? That's going to be the nuclear missile system. So it's going to be more land created by the nuclear missiles, right? Not only that, but go ahead and read that quick.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, and verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place.
The earth is going to be moved out of its axis. Okay? Which that's going to change time. It's going to change the vibration. It's going to change a lot of things. Okay? It's going to change a lot of things. All right? Go ahead.
It says, in the wrath of the Lord of hosts and in the day of his fierce anger. It's the book of Hebrews 12 and 26, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he has promised, saying, yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. This is
It's going to make the whole heavens shake, man. The clouds and everything's going to be shaking, man. You could be in an airplane, you're still going to feel it. You could literally be flying an airplane, you're going to feel the earth. You're going to feel it in the sky. Most likely they're going to die. Okay? They're going to die, most likely, if you're in an airplane. Unless you're the elect. The Lord will send a chariot to pick you up out of the airplane. You know what I'm saying? But
Isaiah 24 and verse.
But what do you
the
mean?
book of
what was that?
Because you said something. I was wondering. Because we have to have the spiritual body to enter the chariot, right?
Yeah, we're going to get changed. As soon as we touch that
Yeah.
chariot, we're going to be changed.
Okay, because nobody can go from the airplane to the chariot right away before it changes.
Well,
Because we can't enter the kingdom of heaven.
well,
That's
I mean,
it's a question. You know?
you're not going to. All I know is that when we enter the kingdom, the chariot is definitely going to be changed.
Yeah.
And that twinkle of an eye once we get in there. But the thing is that there's been certain accounts of people being abducted by the angels, beating their ass up in the chair, drop their ass off somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, which I don't know if it's how true, but the Edomites seemed scared and it seemed like it was real. And I believe that. I believe the angels like to beat up Edomites.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name? The angels, they like to beat them. They like to, sometimes they just want to jump and eat them. You know, the spirit just gets sideways. They go, where am I? Shut up. Shut up.
Your turn.
Right? Bow before me. Like Bugs Bunny, bow down. They hit him with the staff. I mean, I know what's this.
No, it's okay. No, you answer my question.
Right. So, like I'm saying, I don't know if that happens for everybody, right? But I'm saying that most like for example, Elijah, he changed me.
Yeah.
Yahushua, he was ready pretty much transition at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say yes, typically. But do I know if every case that happened? I don't know. Those are spiritual miracles.
That's right.
Those are spiritual miracles. What you gotta say?
I was thinking about King David. You know how he said,
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the debate right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the end of the debate right there.
Yeah.
You feel what I said, but at the end of the debate, King David was taken in a chariot, and he was regular. That's why Tawadi Abashino tried to speak too soon, because there we go. That's an example right there. You know?
That's right.
Yeah, Habakkuk.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. He was taken up. Also Philip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was taken. But we don't know if that was a chariot that took him up and just was a chariot. We don't know what happened. Go ahead.
This is Sirach 16 and 18. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens, the deep and the earth and all that therein is shall be moved when he shall visit. The mountains also and the foundation of the earth be shaken with trembling when the Lord looketh upon them. Right, so they're going to be moved. This is last one, Isaiah 24 and verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again.
Verse 19.
This is the book of Isaiah 24:19. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean to solve. The earth is moved exceedingly.
Right, so it has to be dissolved and broken down for it to be built back up. And it's going to be built back up like what the Garden of Eden. All right? That's enough?
Revelation 16 and 18. And there was a voice, and thunders, and lightnings. And there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake, and so great. And then through that earthquake, things are going to change. Like again, the brother said, the earth shall will to and fro.
Oh, what proves the vibration change? What proved after the flood the vibration changed? Huh? They were able to eat meat. Right? They were able to eat meat. The Lord changed that vibration. He said, listen, you can eat anything. Right? He changed the whole vibration. That was a whole nother order. Because before that, they were eating nothing but grass. And another thing, it continued to rain.
Right, yeah. Rain, no more dew.
It continued to rain, no more dew, man.
Yeah.
So the whole vibration changed, man.
Shit.
But this time it's going to change for the better. You know? This time it's going to change for the better. Which really that was good too, because the rain is a great, beautiful thing. And the kingdom is going to reign still. Right? They ain't going back to dew. Scriptures say that they're not going to get rain if they don't come up to worship. So we know that it's going to be raining. Right? But a lot of other things are going to change.
We're going to change.
Well, of course, we're going to change. The animals' minds are going to change. Animals ain't going to be eating one another when they hit to them. I know it for sure when they hit Israel, they're going to be eating each other. So their vibe is going to be different. And the dread of man, especially Israel, is going to be back on. Just like in the time of Adam.
Isaiah 11.
Oh, you got a little bit more? Good.
Isaiah 11 and verse 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them, and the cow and the bear shall feed. Their young ones shall lie down together. The lion shall eat straw like the ox. The suckling child shall play on the hole of an asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea.
Right. And the Lord might have it where they're full. When they hit the land of Israel, they become full. You understand what I'm saying? Where they don't need to eat. So you tell me a serpent, okay, you won't be able to use his venom to bite. Okay, well then what's he going to eat? The serpent going to eat grass? You tell me a serpent's going to be there nibbling on grass with no hard teeth? You understand what I'm saying? So you got to kind of, you know what I mean? We will have to see. We really have to look through a glass of darkness. But I know one thing, the vibration is going to change. That's
Revelation 21 and 5. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me,
what does the word new mean? Kainos, new, fresh, baby. All right? Good.
Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful.
This is Isaiah 54 in verse 2. It says, Enlarge the place of thy tents, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitation.
The land is going to grow. The land of Israel is going to be grown. It's going to be expanded. Yeah. Okay? And the nuclear missiles too is going to also create more land. Right? But guess what? When the flood came, you got mountains underwater. You got literal mountains under the sea. Okay?
Yeah. Good. And even with our land, you know, also Tahar brought it out a couple times, how that Saudi Arabia is supposed to be part of Israel.
Yeah, right.
That's supposed to be part of our land too. So you can only imagine how the Lord's going to expand it even more.
Yeah, that's right.
And for what purpose? Because the elect are going to bring back the other Israelites as well. And even these other nations are going to procreate even more too.
I mean, too, like how you said the land's going to expand. The rivers back then were bigger. You know, like the Hyson, they were bigger, larger. You know?
It says, enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes.
That's it, bro. So, hey, man, the Lord's going to set it up right. You know, we got these carnal Israelites, oh, well, how's everyone going to fit on the land? Do you know how much people can fit? You know all the population of the world can fit in Texas right now? The land of Texas, you know that? Don't let Esau fool you with this overpopulation, man. Don't let Esau fucking fool you, man. There's plenty of space. Okay? And there's only a certain amount of Israelite spirits. There ain't no, you know what I'm saying? We're constantly making Israelite spirits. Messiah? No. There's a certain amount of Israelite spirits, man. It's like there's a certain amount of heathen spirits. There's a number.
That's true.
Okay?
Being in Canada, we see that too, a lot of wasted land.
A whole bunch of it. You be driving somewhere, you got miles and miles and miles of this emptiness. People are living and got cramped in apartments, man. Yeah. Upstairs, you can hear your mosquito. I want no mosquito bite, man. I don't want mosquito bite, though. These things be annoying. But anyways, you be hearing the person that's laying with his woman next to you. Trying to sleep, you gotta put the pillows over your ear. You know what I'm saying? And the same for you. You're dealing with a woman, they can hear you rocking. Especially if you're dealing with her with vigor. Right? You gotta share for the day. Right? She said something you didn't like last week. Where's all that talk now? symbolize it, dog. But you know what I'm talking about. It's not. You're not supposed to be living like that. You're not supposed to be living all cramped up in one particular building. You're supposed to be living separate, man, with your own land, your own inheritance. I mean, I'll tell you real quick. If the earth was small that cannot contain, vast majority of the population, the Lord wouldn't say, "Oh, be multiplied, be fruitful and multiply." He wouldn't bring that commandment into life. You know? Right. You gotta say, "Oh shit, yo." I said, "No, you overdoing it." You know what I'm saying? The most like, yo, man, bro, how you have 20 wives, bro? Don't come down, curse out, man. You 20 years old, I told you to be fruitful. Come on. Curse out, eat fruit. Yeah, curse out, you gonna curse out, eat fruit. And you. And all the tribes are fruitful.
That's right.
Huh?
That's why I showed a video of Bishop Italian saying, all these guys, all they think about is sex. But he said it, like you said, we have to multiply, you know. He's against that.
Whatever, man. That's just like a Christian organization. That's a Christian organization with fringes.
Yeah.
Fringes. That's all that is. They don't push the vibration of Israel.
Nope.
Right? Go ahead.
Jeremiah 31 and 37, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord Yahweh."
Right, that's showing you how vast the land is. Saying if it could be searched out, then you know what I'm saying? Then will I will do away with Israel. So you can't be searched out, man. There's just too many. There's so much land. So I don't care all the technology, all the jets they have, all the technology, the cars, they can't search out the whole land. So you're telling me that everybody can't have their own plot of land?
Another reason that shows that Esaias is lying about how much land is available in the world is how, if you check the map, you see that he has shrunk Africa. So that people don't actually see that, oh, that's actually a big land. That's really, I believe it's the biggest continent, right? But he shrunk it to the size of even Russia.
Actually, Russia's big.
What?
I think Russia's big.
Russia is the biggest. Okay, but regardless, to the point where it seems like Africa is really a small continent. He shrunk it to that point.
That was psychological.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how we saw work on the left hand side with psychology. That's something behind us. That's something.
This is second Ezra 2 and verse 34. It says, "And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest. For he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world, receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly."
Break it down.
So yes, flee the shadow of this world and be ready to receive the kingdom, bro. That's what's coming, bro. That's what Yahweh Shai is bringing. Rest, comfort.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, and verse 11.
Comments?
And it reads,
Well, I see some comments from before.
I don't know this.
Sorry, but that was a while ago. Let's see if any new comments. That was any relevant comments.
2 Peter 3 and 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
Right. Seeing that all these things are going to be dissolved, meaning what? That the nuclear missile is going to destroy America, all right? And his kingdom in general is going to be taken down, right? What manner of person are you to be to evade that, to get out of that situation, for the Lord to have to protect you and be with you? Okay? You have to follow the ways of righteousness. You got to follow the ways of Yahweh Shai and believe on Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
All right? Which comes with action. You don't just, I believe on Yahweh Shai. No, it comes with action behind it. You have to have action with it, or you really don't believe it. All right? And you're not going to be defended. Because the Lord said what? He that believes on me, I would like it in. Let me at Matthew 25. Right?
Verse 12, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day. Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
Right.
Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Yeah, we're looking for a whole new rulership, which is getting ready to come. Okay, when Yahweh Shai comes back, I'll set up over one that is profitable. But ask me something else.
This is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them,
The one that is profitable.
I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock.
So you have to hear the words and you have to do it. You can't just hear it, you gotta hear it and do it. All right? It goes hand in hand. Faith without works is dead, man. All right? Oh, yeah, I believe. Okay, so where's your works at, man?
That's right, that's right.
All right, show me your faith, and I'll show you my faith by my works. Without that works, and show me that, I'll show you my faith by my works.
That's right, that's right.
Got that? Okay, hold on. Read that.
James 1 and 22. Be ye doers of the word,
That's right.
and not hearers, only deceiving your own selves.
Right, so you doers of the work, because you're deceiving yourself. You think that, oh, yeah, I believe, but you're not doing no work. And guess what? You can praise us all day. If you're not doing the work, if you praise them to us and Shalom brothers, that's not going to save you either. Man. Okay? Brown nose and ass kissing, that's not going to save nobody. That's why the apostles, they don't even deal with no brown nose. Right? Although if we see them, we will give them reverence and be happy and excited to see them because we look up to them. But at the end of the day, guess what? That's not going to deliver anybody. You got to make sure that you're doing this work for yourself. That you're seeking out your own salvation and fear and trembling. Go ahead.
It says, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock.
Right.
And everyone that heareth these things of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
Right. Great was the fall of it because what? They weren't doers of the word. Go ahead. Well, they
Ecclesiastes,
said that they were hearers, but they weren't doers. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 10, verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Right. The one that's profitable is Yahweh Shai. That's who he's going to set over it. Okay? Yahweh Shai to what? To bring this earth back into a state of righteousness and in a state of the Garden of Eden, man. All right? What you got, brother? What you got, brother? Nothing? Oh, yeah, that one? Okay, go ahead.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 6, verse 24. It says, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and the wise king is the upholding of the people.
Right, right. So that wise rulership is going to allow this place to flourish. Matter of fact, get Proverbs 29. Okay?
This is the book of Proverbs 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Right, so that shows you that the wicked is in rulership right now. Because the people are mourning. They're not rejoicing in this place. Okay? You got flipping preteens that are children that are depressed. Okay, so this place is a wicked, evil place, man. Okay? So when we're set up under Yahweh Shai, guess what? This place is going to be a happy place to be a part of, a happy kingdom. You're going to wake up and be excited to be alive, right? All right? You're going to be looking forward to the day. You're going to wake up, you're going to be ready, man. Every day is going to be like that. Not just for us, even eventually it's going to be for the heathen like that in general. Okay? The only ones who are not going to get to experience that is the Edomites. They know Edomite going to wake up. The only thing is from that is for the whips. Putting some boiling hot oil.
That if we decide to sleep, you know.
That's it. Huh?
That's if we decide to sleep, because maybe we won't, you know. New body, we don't have to sleep.
Yeah, we don't have to. But we're going to, you know, it's going to be good. You're going to feel good to sleep, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you sleep, it's going to be a nice rest.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
it's a real rest.
Right?
Yeah.
Go But it's not like if we're gonna be oh, I'm tired. You can't go to the party right now. 50 is just wild. I hangover. Too tired, you know? It's gonna be good, man. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah 65 and verse 17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind.
Right, the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. Okay? What you got, brother?
Psalms,
Which even the Most High rested with the angels. They rested on the seventh child's roof. Right? So the rest is a part of life. The balance, though. You know? Go ahead, bro.
Psalm 16 and 11, Thou wilt shew me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore.
Right, that right hand is pleasures forevermore. So that's what we're going to be focused on. Okay, there we go. But really, it's the heathen and the taskmasters that's going to rest in Esau, the Sabians and so on and so forth. We're going to be enjoying life. You know, we'll come back and get the report. You know, you're going to read the thing. This is what the Edomites put to death. Yeah, some of them are losing limbs. This one. This one is a rock job. You put extra rigor on this building.
That's right.
All right? Con. You know, Hammer's going to be happy to do that, man.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Jump. Do that whenever you know. That Hammerite smile. You know? Go ahead, man.
This is Psalms 126 and verse 1. It says, when the Lord turned again the captivity.
Like, what's that guy's name? The YouTube? Yeah, that's. Think about it. They saw close to the camera and shit. Yeah. That's a true, pure-breeded Hamite, man.
This is Psalms 126 and verse 1. It says, when the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream.
Yeah, you're like them, right. It's going to be like a dream for us, man. All right? And it's funny because you know what? Even some jakes, they listen, that's why I told you, like, even though those that are man will plead for his life, there's particular jakes that still, you know, they might be jakes that chill with those heathens because they come from the same country. You know, so they chill with the heathens. You know? But they still always gravitate to Jake. You know, they'll still have Jake friends, but then they'll still have like Hamite and chill with Hamite every now and then. I know a particular guy like that right now that I know. Right? He's named Mama Duke. Alright? There's about 1 million Mama Dukes sitting down in Africa. I believe he's from, I can't remember where he's from. I believe it's West. Might be common. That sounds closer to what it is. But him, he's Jake. I know him from a long time. But I see him the other day. He's chilling with a bunch of Hamites, man. With them, Kush, you know, whatever, foot, wherever the other ones are from. Right? But I see him with some Hamites, you know? I'm thinking like, let's start chilling with all these Hamites. You know, like that's because he comes from that landmass and they try to make that a point of common ground. Oh, I'm from Africa, you from Africa. They're trying to bond with you. They try to bond with me based on that. But just to see if I'm gonna accept that, you know? I see Africa's not like that for us. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't feel no weight, but that's why. You know what I'm saying? But they try to bond based upon that. That's why you'll see a lot of Jakes chilling with Ishmael too.
Yeah.
And you'll see Jake chilling with Ishmael because they use that. Ishmael will use that too. Ishmael always uses that. You understand? They'll push that out there, and that's like a common ground.
I'm blacker than you.
Right. Oh yeah. I've heard that. Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's because in order for you to have friends, you gotta have commonality. Right? You have to have a commonality. You have to like something that they like. Whether it might be video games you might be into, or it might be whatever, you know, fishing. Right? You have to have those commonalities, and that's what brings you together. Right? So that's why you'll see Jake's hanging with a bunch of heathens sometimes.
But you see that I'm gonna say something. You see with the Levite, the old generation don't mess with it, man. Like it's the new generation.
Yeah.
They're more like that.
Right.
Go ahead. Verse 2, Psalms 126 and verse 2 says,
Because back then, it was more, people weren't trying to bond like that. They were stay themselves. They stayed like kind of more segregated. Now we're in a time where it's like everybody's trying to buddy. You got things that confuse you. You got things that ain't supposed to be together.
Psalms 126 and verse 2, it says, Then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them.
Right. That's what's going to happen. We're going to be filled with laughter and joy. But give me the righteous one, excellent in his neighbor. Give me the cleave to his life. Give me that. Yeah, I got it. Got that already? What? Cleave to his life.
Ecclesiasticus 13 and verse 14. It says, matter of fact, 15.
We'll have put a difference between Israel and the Egyptians.
Good. It says, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor.
Right, you don't see zebras chilling with gazelles, right? Or zebras chilling with hyenas and alligators, right? Or lions chilling with hyenas. You don't see that. Okay?
All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like.
Right, to those that are like him. Right? Because you have to remember also, Jacob has taken on the mindset and customs of the heathen. So they are like the heathen. Right? So they do vibe with you. See a Jacob chilling with an Edomite because he got the mindset of the heathen. Well, have a conversation with him. You're going to find out real quick he has the mindset of an Edomite. The ideology, the things that he thinks, the way he thinks about things. Right? Or you got those Jakes in school, they'll be chilling with a bunch of women. A lot of time, them dudes was fruity, man. Dudes was real soft, you know what I'm saying to you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they'll be popping something, they'll be having sex with someone. A lot of them was very effeminate, man. So they got along with them. But a lot of them were secret homosexuals, man. Go ahead.
Amos 3 and 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Yeah, I remember there's this one dude, that's it. We're going to read that again.
Amos 3 and 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
I remember there's this one cat that grew up with, and he was clearly we'd be at the party, and girls be whining. He'll be whining with the girls.
What?
Literally, man. All right? I'm talking about a big 6'4".
Whining behind the girls or?
Not behind, with the girls, man. Like he'll do it quick, and the people will give him a dirty. Everyone will give him a dirty. There's a bunch of Benjamites give him a dirty look. They'll beat him up after school, you know. And then he'll kind of take a pause. But everyone knew this guy was a thing, right? But then he would put on a front because he was dating a couple of them. You know? Which I said that before. Didn't I say who would I have the conversation with? Them flamers will actually be smashing girls and dudes. They'll smash anything. They'll do anything. Orgies. You understand what I'm saying? Because they have no bounds. They're opened up to the demons. So he was probably most likely having sex with some of those girls because he was dating somebody. But he was clearly an alphabet person. You understand? But he consorted to his like. He was in agreement with the women. Because, I think he's cute too.
Go ahead, jump in. Sirach 19 and 29. A man may be known by his look, and one that had understanding by his countenance. When thou meetest him, a man's attire and excessive laughter and gait shew what he is.
Right. Yeah, the way he carried himself,
The high pitched voice.
the mannerisms, the broken wrist, the dragged on sentences.
You guys are flavor.
Man, I know. The dragging on every goddamn thing.
You guys are pushing.
Yeah, but you got some jakes that act like that, but they're not even alphabet. They're just very effective. Okay? Esau has done a number on you. He's done a great work on the left hand side. Great work on the left hand side. you got?
There's a bit more.
Yep.
It says, verse 17, what fellowship had the wolf with the lamb?
That's right.
Or
And that's why we can't mix with these people. Right? We go to these people, really I don't want to have a, sometimes the conversation gets too, but sometimes I'll be, for some reason I go places that ends up being a spiritual conversation sometimes when I talk to people, but mostly when I talk to people, I don't want to talk to these people, right? Okay? They're talking to me, so in my head I want to say, okay, that's it, bro. That's what I want to hear. That's why I have headphones. A lot of brothers, when they go out, they always have headphones. I always got headphones. That should be a fucking sign to me. let that be a sign.
it says, what fellowship had the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly.
Right, it's a sinner with the godly. We don't mix it. You might talk to them it might be cool for a bit, but after a while, you're like, damn. They say something left, you're like, oh boy, I can't, I gotta, I gotta go walk my fish, Right.
What agreement is there between the hyena and the dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor?
Right. Because they have different mindsets. Which that's what part of the saying is if you want to get rich, you gotta leave your broke friends. You're gonna be as rich as the 5 people you see hang with. And rich people hang with people that are in that mindset to get rich. You understand what I'm saying?
That's what the scripture says. Try to be at peace. Try to be at peace with God.
If possible. Because you know that some people it's not possible. Was it possible for Paul to be at peace with those people that did a fast to go put him to death? You think he could try to be at peace with them? There was no peace. If he saw them, he might have to grip on, grip on a sword or something. No, walk by. He was a beggar. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness?
Oh, you looking like you're better than everyone else. Now we are better than anyone that's not the truth. Alright? And to the ones that are hopeful elect, well you're really one of us. You're just not on a level right now. Simple. And once you come into the truth, we look at you as our brothers.
Ephesians 5 and 10, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
Right, you gotta reprove those unfruitful works of darkness. Right? And you really want to reprove people. Bubbling in you sometimes, it bubbles in you sometimes. You're trying to hold it in, so you just rather get away from it. So you don't have to flip it, say something out, You gotta say it in a nice way. I don't think that's right. It's my personal opinion.
Again, that's why they're going to separate. When you try to reprove, it says they hate him that reproved at the gate.
Yeah.
And then they're going to, and even Paul said, I might become your enemy because I tell you the truth. So it's either you're going to separate or they're going to separate from you.
And they can see somebody. You don't even have to say nothing. You can see something different out of it. What, Hyde, that's something?
This is the book of.
It's the book of Exodus 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Right, the Lord puts a difference between these other nations and Israel. And you can tell that through the Spirit, right? Because even if Israelite is amongst these nations, they're not going to find any ease. An example I could give is myself. Being amongst the Hamites, I didn't find any ease. There wasn't there wasn't a communion, there wasn't a bond. I felt off, bro, being around them. But being around Jake is like, yo, my people, in the spirit though. And I also noticed that with the Hamites, they would envy certain things I would do. Because I was a hooper, they hate, they just don't like, they hate that flavor, bro. They hate how I was dressing, how I was talking, But I would see that, I'm like, yo, I didn't understand at that time, because like, I wasn't on a level. But
because they can't do it.
Right.
That's why. Because they can't do it. You understand? Which listen, there's a particular Edomite, right? But he's an Edomite, okay? That would come to my cousin's studio, you know? And he would just be so envious at Jake, bro. Like, his whole thing was he wanted to be Jake the time he was a kid. He wished he was a so-called black guy, right? But he doesn't understand it's a spiritual thing, right? So we would say certain things on the songs, you know? The song would say something, it'll say something, I don't know, we'll say something on it, you know? He'd be like, damn, when you guys say it, it sounds so cool. And he'll be saying with like an angry face, you know? If I say it's gonna sound corny, if I say it's gonna sound corny, you know? It's like, which he was corny, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's because he wasn't an Israelite. Right? And I remember my cousin would go, he hollered at this one chick. I remember this one time, he hollered at this one chick. And he hollered and boom, 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 he was spitting games, she's giggling, whatever. And then he was sitting there in the back like a villain, like the creation of a villain. Or villains, the villains begin their story. She's probably just desperate. And he was all mad and hurt. So the other brother, he was looking at the other guy, looking at him like, what's going on here? Like, it was so weird, you know? But it was like a villain origin story. Because he was hating on my cousin because he couldn't do what we do. He didn't have the spirit or the flavor that we had. And even now he's jealous of that shit. You know? You understand what I'm saying? And you can see it, you can feel it, you can feel the vibe of that. You know? But then you have other people that look like Edomites that fit in with us. You understand what I'm saying? Because they had the same spirit, okay? But then you had the other straight up Edomites. They couldn't fit. They couldn't hang that. They had the dap would be. Even if they practice the dap is always off. No, when you go, if they don't connect, it's very suspect, all right? But at the end of the day. No, and I hate this. This is what I hate. That I hate that. The people at the dinner will say, no, stop. Right? But at the end of the day, brother, you know what I mean? Jake, it's an envy. It's going to be that the heathen, shall have a, not the one that would be abundance, but the heathen shall,
the heathen rage.
Nah, but the one I'm thinking, there's another one with there's another one with envy.
What you say you hate?
No, because you trying to do the grip. You know, when Jake does the grip. And then you got the heathen, some of the heathen will go like this, and they come up, and they'll slide out. You're trying to grip it.
Or they do that.
Or they'll do a back.
What they say they do?
They'll do the back of the rock.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't work. It's awkward.
How about this? How about that?
Well, I mean, someone does that to me, I'm looking at him as a child, you know? That's a child. I can't take no one seriously like that. But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? It's just completely off. All right? If anybody could find something on that, that would be good. But anyone have a precept? Go ahead.
This is Luke 6 and verse 22. It says, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy. For behold, your reward is great in heaven, for in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets.
Right, well, that's going into the elect. All right, that's going into the elect that know this truth. All right, because the majority of the people, they're not in the truth, even Israelites. But right now, we're dealing with the flavor that Israel has. They need the salt of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. Well, read that first.
This is Ezra 4 and verse 2. It says, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do.
Don't do drugs. Go ahead.
And we do.
Go ahead, man.
It says, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do. And we do sacrifice.
So this is when the heathen were seeking, trying to build with us. Okay, go ahead.
And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Ashar-Hadan, king of Ashur,
Get the woman by the way.
which brought us up thither. But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us.
You have nothing to do with us. You're not on our level, and you have nothing to do with us. Go ahead.
To build an house unto our power.
Right, unto our God. Go ahead.
But we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh, power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, had commanded us.
Right. All right. So, go ahead. Keep going.
It says, then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah.
They were hating on you. They were jealous. They were mad, hurt. Okay. They envied Israel. Okay. Because what? Because they didn't have anything to do with our power. We didn't do the king of Judah at that time. All right. Because what? They had nothing to do with our power. They were not accepting of our power. Go ahead.
And
about God. Go ahead.
And troubled them in building.
Right.
And hired counselors against them.
Right.
To frustrate their purpose.
Right.
All the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
So that's what they did even in Black Wall Street and all that. What they did, they frustrated our purpose. Okay, because we were building, all right, and we were doing better than them, the surrounding Edomites around. So that they started to hate. Jealousy. That's what it was. What do you think all of these things are based on? Most of that's based on jealousy. Okay, it goes back to the dealing with the white woman. Right? You dealing with the white woman. All right. Yeah, dude over there. You're smart. Very smart. Yeah, dude over there. You come closer, you got your fucking head busted. All right. But anyways, dealing with the so-called white woman. All right. Did you get the sign? Okay, good. All right. Anyway, dealing with the so-called white woman. That's what they were. That was the main thing that they were jealous about too. That's one of the reasons. But not just that. It wasn't just that alone. It was the whole spirit of what Jake could do. Right? The prowess of Jake, the strength of Jake, the musical abilities of Jake, everything. They just looked at Jake and said, damn, like, sometimes they just look like they'll be in captivity. Jake will be in captivity. They'll just be looking out over on the balcony. Yeah. They're mad, just hurt. Because they know Jake has something that they don't have, man. They were blessed in the spirit. That's it. That's all.
This is Lamentations 2 and verse 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that man called the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee.
Right, so they started to mock when Jake was brought down. Right? Because they were jealous of Jake when they were on that higher state. Right?
They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Surely this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have
that was
seen
the day that they were looking for. They were looking for us to fall. All right? Because they were mad at when we were up. They were hurt. They were jealous when we were up. Right? That was it?
Hey, just like at the time of Adam, in the book of Ezekiel, it speaks about all of the other trees. They're jealous of Adam, man. Allah his bout, it's about get that. Allah his bout, how the tree was made, man. Basically the mannerism, the way of life, how like the Most High was with them. And even then, back then only the Adamites were really immortal back then, man. The rest of the heathen nations, they weren't immortal. Right. So that was one reason for them to be jealous of us, man.
That's right. Glory I was given us. Okay?
This is Genesis 26 and verse 12. Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold. And the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth.
Read that again. We'll break it down.
Yeah, so Isaac got a lot of wells. But since the Philistines envied him, they filled up these wells with earth, right?
Right.
Just to stop his growth.
Well, these nations have always hated and jealous of us. So that's what you have to understand. The root of a lot of Edomite hatred is jealousy. Okay? Right? Which I believe there was I don't know if it was it might have been I don't know who it was. It was one of her brothers mentioned that there was like he was on a bus like bobbing his head to like.
Oh, it was other apostle.
Right, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was other apostle, right? He's bumping his head up particularly. Jake bumped his head, no? They do that, and the Edomite was like, "How do you do that?" Because Esau can't do it. Esau don't have the flavor of something. That's a simple thing. That's something that that's just easy. The bump in the head, Esau put it. That's why they got they don't have it. They just don't got it. Okay? They don't got it, bro. Go ahead, man.
And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac,
And even something like that, they're super envy. Like they're just like, yo, because they know something superior about us. Good.
it says, and Isaac departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And he digged another well and strove for that also. And he called that name, the name of it Satnas. So it's, yeah, continuous, man. Continuously they strove with him for his wells of water. Yep. That's because of what? Ultimately because of envy.
Yep. All about envy. That's what it's all about. You gotta understand, when you walk around and you see Esau and these other nations, you gotta look and say, oh, they're envious. You know? You could feed into that, man. Alright? And you envy, that's not my problem with most I made you eating like. You gotta kind of move with that kind of mindset. Or move like how these jakes move, trying to cater these you gotta these Edomites like, man, you know what I mean? You should, first of all, you're supposed to be in captivity under us, man. What you got, bro? Get the last scripture.
Ezekiel 31:7. Thus was he fair in his greatness, and in the length of his branches,
Right.
for his root was by great waters. The cedars of the garden of the Most High could not hide him. The fir tree were not like his bark, and the chestnut tree were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him.
So all the trees, which represents the other nations. So it all goes back to envy. It all goes back to jealousy, man. You see Esau, man. Okay? And they can stink being each other. When I look at Esau and I see Esau, sometimes you'll catch an Edomite looking and hating from the corner. Yeah. Just eating lunch, you know, eating a sandwich. Esau just being there to see. Just mad and hurt. Mad and hurt, bro. About what, man? Because he sees that spirit, man. He knows deep down you got the blessing, man. Go ahead, bro. Bring that up. And the heathen, too. No, not just Esau, but Esau is the worst, but the heathen as well, man. Go ahead, bring that up.
Genesis chapter 27 and 41. I just want to do the point. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing.
Because of the blessing. You understand? When they see them, Jake's running all the sports, they look on their TV, they see Jake dunking and doing triple. Like Esau just be hating, just be hurt. Sure. Remember there's one older Edomite, and she's like I don't know, she was a friend or something, and she was watching. I think it was at the time of like the NHL playoffs. This was like a couple of years ago, a few years ago actually, and she was watching the NCAA basketball instead of the hockey, which was playing on the other side, yo. What Edomite, and she's cheering for the basketball, and one of you, why aren't you watching the hockey? You know, like she was getting like hurt. You know, she had to explain, I went to college there. I went to Duke and all this, because he was just mad, and she was all into the Jake sport more than the Edomite sport, man. Every cheer, she was like, hey, just mad, hurt. I mean, Esau's petty, man. Go ahead, bro.
Sirach 14:8. The envious man had a wicked eye.
I'll be the first. I don't like hockey, man. I'll tell you that straight up. I don't like hockey. All right? Got certain brothers that like it. I don't like it, man. To me, it's boring. You need more so-called. You need Jakes to flavor that shit up, man. That's like the NBA back in the early 50s, man. And they bouncing the ball like this. Like there ain't no flavor in that shit. That's why they gotta be fighting every 2 seconds, man. Yeah. Bring it to spice it up a little, give some entertainment. God damn it, going back and forth for 2 seconds, ain't scoring nothing. Just watching one game, shit, the goalie wasn't even in the net. And if you do that, shoot like 10 shots to get it in. from far. I swear to you, brother.
But the thing is that it's Jake that invented the argument.
I know. Yeah. But it was different when Jake invented.
Sorry, thank you.
It was different. Well, especially with Gad, specifically with Gad, because Gad had their own form of Gad. But Gad, it was like a bigger field, okay? And it was more athleticism involved in it. You can say athletic. It was more swag, so to speak, more finesse involved with it, man. It wasn't all brute like that. You understand? Which the Black Nova Scotians, they came up with a different version of it, which was like close to what you see now. But Jake is different. If Jake were to continue to allow that to evolve with Jake's in it, trust me, that sport would be totally different. That's just me. I mean, certain brothers like it. That's not me. I don't like that. I can't sit down and watch that. I'd rather watch soccer than anything else. And it's not because it's just me, it's just because to me personally, it's boring.
Sirach 14:8, the envious man hath the wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth man. A covetous man's eyes is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. And the wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a nigger. Yeah, and he is a nigger.
He envieth Jake. Okay? When he looks at Jake, he's looking with envy. He's not just looking with just a pure heart, just blank, just his mind is just blank. Oh, meet this guy. He's looking at Jake for the most part with envy. Good.
Yeah, I'll read Sirach 14:9. A covetous man's eyes is not satisfied with his portion.
I remember this one Edomite was at the bar, right? And this one chick, right? And it was like the bartender. He said, Jared, I was like a few seats down. The accent, you like BBC, don't you? You know, trying to basically prompt her. She's like got kind of nervous. She didn't know how to answer. When they're going to get mad and hurt. Come on, you can tell me. Like, why are you asking for what? What kind of question is that, man? Because deep down, that's in the back of his mind. Like you see the chick, you don't just see a chick, you say, I wonder if she likes it, you know? He's crazy, man. Go ahead, bro.
And a covetous man's eyes is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. A wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table.
That's why you can't have Esau next to you. That's why the scripture said, never put your enemies beside you, lest you seek to take that seat. Esau's always looking to overthrow Jacob. Okay? What you got, bro? That's all? That's all? No? Good? Huh? Very, no, we're good off that. We're good off that. No? That's all?
Last scripture maybe that
Let's go.
it's not really with this topic, but it's within the whole camp topic. So Revelation 21 verse 3. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling of God, Yahweh Bashem Shai, is with men. He will dwell with them.
With who? Which man? The Israelite. Alright? See, because this is all about the Israelite man. This whole kingdom that's coming, the Lord's giving that to the Israelite man. Right? The woman is just going to benefit, all women is going to benefit based upon being a byproduct of the man. Okay? And those are the ones that get in order. The ones that don't get in order, they're just going to be a meat for the fowls. You know what I mean by that? Meat for the fowls? I mean that the fowls is the seagulls and shit. They're going to be eating their dead carcass, man. Ain't nobody going to help you, man.
Yeah, so like it's just as you were saying, even because the woman really represents like it just comes with the victory. You know, it's just that's why they say that spoils of war, like booty. You know, they're gonna benefit because that's what we're gonna get.
That's where you get the word booty from, man. Jake likes booty, don't he? Booty, right? Don't he? Right? He likes it, but that comes with the victory. That's the victory at the end. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's the spirit. Go ahead.
And they shall be his people, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will be with them.
Right.
He will wipe away every
We're
tear.
good off of that. The Most High's going to be with us, and Esau's going to be hurt.
Yeah,
You can still be hurt. You're still going into captivity. Yahushai's still going to deliver us, and you ain't going to win. There's no way you're going to win. You're at the end.
Grand
Right?
finale.
With that, we're going to say Shalom. We're going to give all praises, glory, and honor
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chakadash.
Double honors to the apostle, the husband of great millstone. Salutation, much love, and respect to you brothers out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Shemai,
Shemai,
Allah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shemai,
Shemai, Allah,
Yahweh,
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 Yahweh, Shemai,
Shemai,
Allah,
Yahweh,
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 Kwam Yasha,
Kwam Yasha,
Kwam Yasha,
Kwam Yasha,
Kwam Yasha,
Kwam Yasha.
Bad Babam, man.
Soon.
Destruction to other one, man. Fucking.
That's right.